Hey guys, so a question I get often asked is how many meals should you eat a day? This is a bit confusing because there's that big myth that if you eat 6 meals a day or eat little and often, you're going to have a faster metabolism and you're going to keep your metabolic rate up and burn more calories throughout the day. So let me fill you in on the truth and hopefully break down this myth for you. So basically, over the last 100 years, we've increased the amount of snacks we have. So 100 years ago, we used to eat 3 meals a day and nothing else. Then we started to eat 3 meals and one snack roughly in the 1970s. Now it's 3 meals plus two snacks. That's basically because snacking is a really good way to increase our calorie consumption and sell junk food to us. And in those 40 years, we've increased our calorie consumption by about 200 to 500 calories a day. And of course, in that time, we've got massively more overweight and more obese. And basically, it's just because adding in snacks is a really easy way to add in unneeded calories. And that's what's happened over the last 40 years. Doesn't mean snacking's the cause of obesity, but it does seem that people who eat more often and include those snacks are more likely to overeat and gain weight because most snacks aren't generally healthy foods anyway. You can have a much healthier plate of chicken, vegetables, fruit than you can a healthy snack, unless it's just a piece of fruit. So snacking in general has been linked to the increase in weight gain in our society. So in that way, it's probably a good example that eating more often is not beneficial. But if we actually look at the science and look at what happens when you compare between 3 meals and 6 meals a day, what seems to happen is nothing, basically. When 3 meals is compared versus 6 meals in two groups, there was showed to be no difference in weight loss, no difference in muscle loss, and no difference in satiety and satiety hormones. So leptin and ghrelin, these hormones that make you feel fuller, there wasn't any difference. As long as they were eating the same amount of food, you adapt to what you're doing. So basically what this seems to show is that there is no benefit to eating 6 meals because you don't lose less muscle, you don't gain more muscle. And when people don't eat for up to 72 hours, their metabolic rate doesn't slow down at all. It actually slightly elevates going towards the 72-hour mark. So basically, you don't need to worry about how often you eat. Getting used to eating 3 meals a day and getting in the habit of eating healthy meals is probably a much better long-term solution than constantly having to be neurotic and make sure you're preparing all your 6 meals. Because if you do eat those extra few meals, you've got to make sure all your meals are suddenly lower in calories to account for that added food you're having 2 or 3 times a day. Whereas if you only eat 3 meals, if each one of them was 600 calories, that's only 1800 calories. You could add in another 200 calories to each one and probably still be losing weight. Whereas if you add in 200 calories to 6 meals a day, suddenly you're adding in an extra 1000 calories a day. You're very likely to gain weight. So my advice is really simple. It's going back to eating 3 meals a day, getting used to having 3 wholesome meals, making sure they're nutritious, they're natural, and you'll be losing weight. Because even if you've lost weight with 6 meals a day, it's probably because you got better at looking after yourself and eating the right foods. It was nothing to do with having 6 meals. 6 meals doesn't have any metabolic advantages, doesn't make you feel fuller for longer, really isn't beneficial. And in the long term, it's probably much harder. Can you see